Hey YouTube, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles, and today we're in my office to do a little filming about a really interesting topic with one of our babies that I want to share with you because it's a medical thing and you may be able to help save something by this. I should have filmed it when it happened, but I didn't. I just fixed it, but I'm going to walk you through and show you what we did. But before I do that, you're probably saying, holy crap, it's a disaster in there. You got old cages, display cases, old egg box I need to clean out, our light box, and it is. Here is a simple fact. We have literally outgrown our digs, man. We're outgrowing our digs. But stick with us, because if you keep watching, I think you're going to see a solution to that problem that I, for one, am really excited about. I know camera guy Kurt's really excited about it. Aren't you, Kurt?
Yes.
There you go. You get your single word answer from Kurt. He's really excited. But today we're going to talk about an issue we have with the baby, and that would be this baby right here. So what this is a little lesser baby, and you can see it looks pretty tiny, and I'm going to show you exactly how tiny it is. So what happened, and you can go back and watch our clutch cutting video, it'll probably show it in there. I wasn't sure this little guy was even doing okay because he was a little underdeveloped. He was fine, but his egg yolk was spongy, this hard mass. Not a good egg yolk. So as I was checking on babies, I gave him a closer look, and what I found was, come here little one, that he had what I've heard called, I don't know a medical name for it, I've heard it called hard belly. And when you'd feel in here, there was a hard mass right below that umbilicus, entering right there. So there's a hard mass right in here. And there was no way he was going to be able to pass that mass on his own. And that will eventually kill that snake. So what will happen is it'll sit there, it'll adhere, it'll then rip things out, and it has to come out. Typically, if the yolk was healthy and good, they would absorb that yolk, it would turn into nutrition. In this case, it's not going to do that. So what we ended up having to do was using our thumb and working on the belly of that snake, nice and gently work it out and palpate it out, almost like a stuck urate or something of that nature. We were able to remove the hard belly mass. Okay, so I just noticed something odd on one of my young babies that was born really small, not the ghost. Had a case of hard belly, which is a bad egg yolk. The yolk was bad inside of the egg, and I was able to remove it. Now we'll see the little guy survive. I'm pretty sure we got everything out, but you can see this snake is really, really small. How small, you ask? Let's look. Now, this snake isn't out of the woods yet, and so we'll see how it goes. You know, I mean, we're showing it to you early on because, well, transparency. And I weighed this little guy when he was born. He was in the low 30s. And he still is, 34 grams. So 33 grams. So he, you know, he's got a shot. I've had younger or lighter babies make it. So it's not his weight I'm concerned about, but it's a simple fact that he just didn't get any nutrition and he's small. So we probably won't let him go after he has his first shed without eating, even if we have to assist his first meal. And at this size, I'll probably start on large mouse pinks or a little bigger. So he's going to be taking 3 or 4 gram meals at most. We're not going to be able to start him on full-size meals. It's going to literally take me a while to get him going. I want to show you a different baby for comparison. This was a clutch mate, okay? So this was the same size, or the same clutch, and you can just see an absolute difference in size. I mean, even in the head and everything. This baby absorbed all its yolk. This is the only baby I've ever had that had a hard belly issue. Fortunately for me, and I don't remember who did the original video. I want to say it might have been JKR, but don't quote me on it. So if it wasn't you, Justin, I apologize. But somebody had done a video on it.
I've seen his video.
On it? Was it his? On hard belly?
He's done one.
Okay, it's the only one out there I think I know of. And it talked about removing it. And by doing my research early on, I was first getting into it. And then when I recognized the problem, I was able to diagnose the problem, and I was able to work to remove that based on what I learned and saw. So first of all, I want to give a big thanks to JKR for doing that video years ago, because without it, I wouldn't have been able to fix this or even recognize it, and I would have lost the snake. And that's kind of the importance of doing some of that research. Now, hard belly isn't something to be afraid of necessarily. Whenever I first watched that video and I did my first few years of breeding, it was one of the things that, it was like the devil in the bushes I was always afraid of coming to get me, the hard belly. And I never saw it, never saw it, never saw it. And I'd pretty much forgotten about it until this. but I also noticed that yolk being different. So I think that yolk being different is a key to recognizing hard belly, that you may have an issue. You may not. I think it depends on how much that yolk got absorbed. In this case, it was a good amount. I should have filmed the removal, but honestly, I noticed it and I just dealt with it, and I didn't even think about setting up cameras and all that. And, you know, Kurt wasn't here. It was late at night, and I just fixed the problem, set the snake back up, checked in the morning. It's still doing fine. But I'll show you another reason why these are snakes that you would normally be concerned about, and why its survival rate still isn't great. I mean, I think we can make it survive, but we're going to try our best. Is this little snake here. Now, this was our boob egg snake from our ghost clutch. So it was a very, very small egg, but that snake absorbed all its yolk. So if you just look at the difference in body condition, they're about the same size. This one actually weighs more than the ghost. However, I'm less concerned with the ghost than I am with this one, because it has the nutrition in its belly that if it doesn't eat the first week or two, it's going to be fine. This one really doesn't. So this one is still kind of in the woods. It's behind the 8-ball. I'd almost compare it to like a premature baby. You know, it wasn't born early or anything like that, but it just doesn't have everything it needs to survive yet, or survive well. It can survive, but it may not thrive. So we have to kind of help it along to get it going. You know, and if we have to help it, we will. And if it gets past that stage, it'll be just fine, no issues whatsoever. So let's take a look at those two close up, so you can just kind of see what I'm talking about. There you can see the slight swelling that you just don't get here. This snake just appears to me to be a lot thinner overall, and just not quite as healthy overall. But we'll get it there with a little bit of luck. All right, Question Girl's in the house today for the first time in a long time. Question, got any questions?
Yeah. So you mentioned that the yolk looked different on your hard belly snake.
Mm-hmm.
How did you go about knowing how to expel that yolk from the snake?
From the snake? Simply watching the JKR video. It was something I learned on YouTube, but I wanted to do a video on it as well, not to reinvent the wheel, but I don't know how many people have seen that video. So I wanted to share my experience, let people know it's a legit thing, you know, and that I was able to remove it. But to see the real process, you'd almost have to go find that video, because I didn't film the process. But it's almost like pushing toothpaste out of a tube. It'd be the best way. So I kind of had the tail, had it bent back, and just kind of slowly and gently work that. You know, and you get peed on, you get everything else on you, and then eventually it'll crest, and then it kind of starts and just kind of comes out. It actually worked just like in the video and looked very similar as this kind of log of whitish, bloodyish, nasty looking almost tissue that's not really tissue. It's just this hard mass. And you can see that in the egg as well, because I've had yolks that weren't absorbed before, where a baby didn't absorb the entire yolk. It's rare, but it happens. But the yolk that's in there will still be this kind of soft and squishy, gooey mass. Got a cat making noise. I locked you away. How'd you get in here? Whoop! Stepped on another one. And anyway, and in this case, that yolk was a hard mass. It wasn't spongy, soft, and kind of liquidy. Like, that's how I kind of knew something was weird with that egg. And then, of course, I found the snake had hard belly too. So,
what are some complications that can come if you don't deal with hard belly when it occurs?
It's death. Death will be your complication. I mean, in all honesty, if you don't deal with that and the snake can't pass it on its own, which it was way too big for that snake to be able to pass when it's already weak, you're going to have death. It's going to start to get stuck in there, adhere to things, and it's going to be horrible. So you got to deal with it. It is something you got to deal with. Death would be the you know, and death is a complication of life. If you want to get really philosophical, we all begin to die the day we're born, correct? But let's not accelerate that process for these snakes. Let's try to keep them going a little while longer. Anything else? She says that's it. What about you, camera guy Kurt?
No.
And this is why we get compared to Jay and Silent Bob. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I love you all so much. And let's keep sharing the reptile love and knowledge and keep this community a happy place. So if we get a troll, we're going to boot him, but we're going to get one anyway. All right, catch you guys later.